Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We will get started here in just a moment.
Ascend Hypnotherapy and Intuitive Services. She provides personalized hypnosis sessions designed to help clients lead a more balanced, harmonious life. Jasmine earned her Master's of Social Work degree from the University of Alabama. And I would just like to throw in that Jasmine was one of my undergraduate students at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. And I am very proud of the professional she has become, and that it's awesome to see your students grow up and evolve into this kind of wonderful example of what a social worker really is. With over 10 years of experience as a licensed master social work, she believes a holistic approach to helping clients overcome obstacles and thrive. She has now explored over 11 countries to date, and I asked her if she would share some of that with us today. But just from my knowledge of Jasmine, I know she's been to Japan a couple of times, Costa Rica, I believe, Korea, is that right? But she will share some of the countries that she's been fortunate enough to attend. She considers herself a globetrotter, and I can certainly attest to that she is. I never know where I'm going to be talking with her from. So it's always interesting to hear about her adventures. On her journey, her mission is to help as many people as possible and unleash the untapped potential within. So without any further ado, I give you Jasmine Billingsley.
Thank you, Dr. McElderry. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Good. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all today. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second here. All right. So it is a pleasure to be here with you guys today. The title of this presentation is Hypnosis and the Powerful Subconscious Mind, and it's presented by Ascend Hypnotherapy. And so I always like to start my presentations out with this question. Why are you here? Why are you here? You know, a lot of times we move through life without conscious notice of why we are doing things. And so, you know, you may be here today because it's mandatory for a class, or maybe you would get extra credit for attending this presentation, or maybe you want to gain a better understanding of what exactly hypnosis is. Or possibly you are wondering if hypnosis could be an effective mode of treatment for you. Whatever your personal reasoning for being here, I welcome you. I don't believe in coincidences in this universe. So I know that you being here at this specific time in this specific place was meant to be. And I trust that you will gain something beneficial from this presentation to help you in some way, shape, or form. So who is this woman? Dr. McElderry did a great job introducing me, but I'll give you a little bit about my background. I am a licensed master social worker. I've been practicing for over 10 years. I'm also a board certified clinical hypnotherapist and a self-love coach. I'm the founder of Ascend Hypnotherapy and Intuitive Services, where I offer personalized hypnotherapy sessions to help clients live a more joyous and balanced life. I received my undergrad degree from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, where Dr. McElderry was my professor for many of my undergrad courses. And, you know, I gained so much knowledge for her, and I am forever indebted to her. One of my classes that I took with her was, I can't remember the exact class, but it was like a writing class. And I will never forget receiving those papers back marked up with all the red, but it prepared me for my master's program. So thank you, Dr. McElderry, for always pushing me beyond my limits. So yes, and I'm also a self-proclaimed wanderlust globetrotter. I think that actually digital nomad may fit me a bit better because I love to travel and spend extended periods of time in different places, meeting new people and just being exposed to different ways of life. And so I'll talk a little bit about that a little more at the end of the presentation today. And also, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will be sure to check that at the end, or you can hold them. There will be a space for question and answer at the end of the presentation. Okay, so we'll get started with, what is hypnosis? What is hypnosis? So hypnosis is a natural yet altered state where the person is extremely relaxed, receptive, and responsive to positive images, affirmations, and suggestions. And so you are completely in control at all times, and you cannot be made to do anything against your moral code. Okay. And so I will be using these terms throughout this presentation. So I just wanted to clarify exactly what they are. So is there a difference between hypnosis and hypnotherapy? Yes, there actually is. So hypnosis can basically be described as the act of guiding someone into a hypnotic state, or what we refer to as a trance state. So hypnosis can be utilized for entertainment purposes as well as therapeutic purposes. And so many of you guys may be familiar with stage hypnosis. And these are solely for entertainment purposes where, they call up a member of the audience to come up and be placed under hypnosis. So that's more along the lines of entertainment purposes. What I do is hypnotherapy, which basically combines the use of hypnosis and therapeutic processes to help clients overcome their issues and problems in order to live a more balanced life. All right, apologies. So combining hypnosis with talk therapy is very unique and it's powerful because it has the ability to create change both at the conscious and the subconscious level. So you're placed in this relaxed trance state, which allows you to be more receptive to suggestibility. And so you're more suggestive to ideas and solutions that will be discussed throughout the process in order to gain positive benefit from this. So how does hypnosis actually work? So the process of hypnosis is basically a series of techniques that are used to guide a person into an extremely relaxed state where they're more receptive, will bypass the critical factor in the conscious mind, which allows us access directly to the subconscious mind, which is also referred to as your emotional mind. And so we'll delve a little bit deeper into that in just a second. So why is this important? Why is it important to bypass the critical mind and gain access to the subconscious mind? It's important because we all have issues, right? We all have issues, whether we publicly acknowledge it or not, which is completely fine. What I know to be true from both personal and professional experience, traveling over 11 countries across the world, meeting different people from different culture backgrounds. What I know to be true is that we all are working through something, right? We are all working to overcome something. We are all working to release something. whether that be trauma, anxiety, toxic relationship patterns, behavior modifications such as smoking cessation, weight management. We all have our stuff, right? And so most of our problems are stored there in the subconscious mind because most of our issues that we're facing are tied to emotions. And so when talking about the components of the mind, I love to use this diagram of an iceberg. So your mind is very similar to this diagram of the iceberg. When you're looking at it, you see the conscious mind is only about 10% of your mind. And this is where your willpower, your long-term memory, your logical thinking, your critical thinking, this is where all of these things are stored here in your conscious mind. But then if you look below the water, this is the subconscious mind, which is estimated to make up approximately about 90% of your mind. And so this is where your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, your values, your long-term memory, your imagination, your intuition, all of this is stored there in the subconscious mind. And so the reason I like to use this diagram is because, as you see, the subconscious mind is below the water. So subconscious means below your awareness, right? This is the part of your mind that you are not consciously aware of. We like to think of this as the automatic. So these are the things that happen automatically without your conscious acknowledgement. And so let's talk a little bit about the conscious mind. As stated before, it's estimated to be only about 10% of your brain. So this is the part of your brain that enables you to think, to know. This is your critical thinking, your decision-making processes. Your conscious mind uses logic and deduction and reason to reach its conclusions and make decisions. So these are where you make the choices in your life. Your decisions as to what you will and what you will not do. And so your conscious mind learns through observation, experience, and education. It utilizes your 5 senses in order to learn and make decisions and process information. And so your conscious mind also controls your voluntary muscles. So these are the muscles that you control actively. So this is when you're actively walking or me moving my hand. These are voluntary muscles, right? So this is all controlled by that 10% of the conscious mind. And then the subconscious mind is estimated to be at least 90% of the brain. Some scientists actually estimate that it's actually a larger percent. And this is your emotional mind, right? Like we said before, this is where your intuition is, your emotions, your belief system. It doesn't have the ability to think or act on its own. It receives its information directly from the conscious mind. So the subconscious also controls your involuntary muscles. So this is your respiratory system. You don't have to think about breathing, right? It's something that automatically happens. It also controls your cardiovascular system, your heartbeat. You're not consciously thinking about your heart beating every second. This is all controlled by your subconscious mind. And so the primary purpose of the subconscious is to achieve the goals that have been given to it by this is supposed to be conscious mind. So the primary purpose of the subconscious is to achieve the goals that have been given to it by the conscious mind, okay? So, for example, think about feeding yourself. You're able to accomplish this goal of eating because this habit pattern has been programmed into your subconscious mind, okay? So you don't have to use your conscious mind to think about eating. You don't have to use your conscious mind to tell your subconscious mind to move the fork from the plate to your mouth, nor do you have to think about which muscles to use. your subconscious mind has already been programmed by the experience to perform the proper movements in order for you to be able to eat. And so this happens because of programming. It has been programmed to, your subconscious mind has been programmed to be able to perform these activities. And so, you know, it's automatic at this point. You don't have to use your eyes. But this is not the same for a baby, right? When a baby first learns to start eating, they get food everywhere except for in their mouth, right? It's all over the place. But with repetition and continuing to do this process over and over, the behavior of eating is stored in the subconscious mind. And so now you don't even have to have the light on to eat, right? You can eat in the dark. You can eat while driving. And so this is the same for other behaviors, such as riding a bike, driving a car, you know, playing a piano, catching a ball. The list goes on. All of these things are stored in your subconscious mind. And when you're performing these activities, you don't have to use your conscious mind to do so. You know, think about when you first started to drive, when you first learned to drive, you had to consciously think every move that you made. Now you get in the car and you're eating while you're driving, you're talking on the phone while you're driving, you're putting on makeup while you're driving, you're doing everything else except for driving, but your subconscious mind is driving. So that's an example of how your subconscious mind takes the goals from the conscious mind and works to achieve the goals. So excuse me, once this behavior is programmed there in the subconscious mind, it stays there. Okay. All right. And so the subconscious mind works like a computer. The subconscious mind works like a computer because the output of your subconscious mind will always equal input. So your subconscious does exactly what it is programmed and directed to do by your conscious mind. Okay. Your subconscious mind is neutral. It doesn't have the ability to make judgments. It is strictly programmed by the conscious mind. So the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to determine right from wrong, to determine good from bad, to determine what is beneficial to you versus what is harmful to you, right? These are all the duties of your conscious mind. So your subconscious mind will return to your conscious mind exactly what it has been programmed to do. So if you plant anger and resentment and envy and failure there in your conscious mind, that is exactly what you will get in return. And if you program your subconscious mind for success, you will be successful. If you program it for failure, you will fail. The choice is completely up to you. So this is why the input will always equal the output. So the subconscious mind works like a computer, but there is absolutely no computer that is as powerful as the subconscious mind. And so when you think about, this is good to think about as well. So when you think about people who you may determine to be, dishonest people, and you may wonder, well, why do these dishonest people seem to be so successful? These people are successful because they have programmed their subconscious mind for success. As I mentioned before, the subconscious mind is neutral. It doesn't have the ability to, it doesn't have a moral compass, okay? So whatever you determine with your conscious mind to be good or bad is what goes directly to the subconscious mind. So, these people who we look at who are we determine to be dishonest, but they seem to be very, very successful in life. This is because they have programmed their subconscious mind for success. And so just as your subconscious can be programmed for success, it can also be programmed for failure. And if you fail to program your mind or fail to give your subconscious a goal or, a problem to solve, then it can never work for you, right? And so why is this important? Why is it important to know that the subconscious works similar to a computer in the sense as input will always equal output? That's important because the subconscious mind is the emotional mind, as we mentioned before. And so your subconscious mind is formulated between the ages of 0, actually that last trimester of your mother's pregnancy, and it is fully formulated about the ages of 8 or 9. Okay. And so between the ages of 0 and 8 and 9, what were you? What were you doing this time period? You were a child, right? You were a child with a very limited life perspective. You were a child with a very me-centered lens. And you were a child with a child's mindset. So between the ages of 0 and 8 and 9, when the subconscious was formulated, there were events that took place. There were events that took place in your life, events and situations, whether this was trauma. It could not have been trauma. It just could have been an event where you took on a belief, right? So because of these events that occurred during your childhood, you took on beliefs about yourself. You took on beliefs about your life. You took on beliefs about the world around you. And from these beliefs, you formed emotions, right? These emotions and beliefs. And from those beliefs, the symptoms and behaviors spring forward, okay? So because of the beliefs that you took on during this period of 0 to 8 or 9, that's why you're experiencing these symptoms and these behaviors that spring forward. So when we hear the term heal your inner child, it's very true. It is very, very true that you really have to go back and heal your inner child because your subconscious is essentially your inner child. Okay. And as we said, your subconscious mind is just like a computer or operates like a computer. Just as a computer operates off of an operating system, the computer is going to continue to operate off of this same operating system until a new operating system is installed. Okay. So that is exactly how your subconscious mind is. If you took on these emotions and these beliefs during the ages of 8 or 9, and you've been operating off of this belief system this entire time, and that's why we see a lot of the symptoms and the behaviors that we're struggling with as adults. So it is your BS that is keeping you stuck. And when I say BS, I'm not referring to what you are thinking about. When I say BS, I'm referring to your belief system, okay? It's your belief system. It's that belief system, AKA that programming that is there in your subconscious that is keeping you stuck in the negative cycle of anxiety. That's keeping you stuck in the negative cycle of the fears and the phobias. That's keeping you stuck with the anger issues. That's keeping you stuck in the self-esteem issues. Keeping you stuck in these toxic relationship patterns. That is, keeping you stuck in the fear of failure. This is all tied directly to your belief system. So, if there's, like I say, I always tell my clients, if there's an area in your life that you're struggling with, you have tried many different methods, many different techniques to overcome the issue, but you continue to find yourself struggling in a particular area, that's because you have a belief system there in your subconscious mind that is not supporting the change. So it is your BS, aka your belief system, that is keeping you stuck. And so, why is hypnosis so effective? Hypnosis is so effective because it works where the problem resides, which is the subconscious mind, right? The entire purpose of hypnosis is to bypass the conscious mind in order to gain access to the subconscious mind. And we've already identified that the subconscious mind is the emotional mind. And we're aware that majority of the issues that most of us face are directly related to emotions. They're emotional issues. So this is why hypnosis can be very, very effective in helping you to overcome these issues that you're struggling with, is because it works directly where the problem resides, the subconscious mind. And so here are just a few of the myths and misconceptions about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. The hypnotherapist is going to make me bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken. The hypnotherapist is going to have control over my mind. I will be vulnerable in hypnosis. And so all of these are not true. As mentioned before, most of the time when people are familiar with hypnosis, it's stage hypnosis. And so if you notice, the people there who are on the stage, they volunteered, right? They volunteered to be a part of a show. That's all part of entertainment. So that's not going to happen in hypnotherapy. I can't be hypnotized. I have a strong will, so I cannot be hypnotized. You have to be gullible to be hypnotized. I will be unconscious and won't be able to remember what happens. I will get stuck in a trance state. And so all of these statements are false. The truth about hypnotherapy. So you will remain in control at all times. You will be aware of what's going on at all times. If ever there is a suggestion given that is not in alignment with you, you are able to dismiss this suggestion at any time. As I said, you will remember everything that happens because you will be aware. You'll just be more so in a very, very relaxed state. You will never be made to do anything that you're unwilling to do. Hypnosis is 100% safe and can only enhance your life. Over 90% of people can be hypnotized, right? The stronger your will and intelligence, the better your outcome will be. You cannot be stuck in a trance. Your personality will not unwillingly change. And your subconscious mind is there to protect you at all times. Your subconscious mind is very, very protective. As I stated before, it controls all of your involuntary bodily functions. So it's basically keeping you alive. So it's very, very protective. It's not going to reveal anything that you cannot handle. And all you need to be successful in hypnosis and hypnotherapy is willingness to submit and the desire for better circumstances. So when I come to clients and they want to know, is hypnotherapy going to be effective for them? The main thing I'm looking for is their willingness, right? Their willingness and their desire for change. Because as we already stated before, the job of the subconscious mind is to carry out the task given to it by the conscious mind. So if you are already consciously saying that you can't be hypnotized or it won't work for you, then you're absolutely correct. It's not going to work. And it's not going to be effective because you have already made that decision. But when I have clients that come to me and, they are telling me that they're sick and tired of the problem, that they've tried many different methods and they are just really ready to resolve the issue, that lets me know that, our work together can be very effective. So I never try to convince anyone, to try hypnotherapy, because your willingness has a huge part to do with how successful your sessions will be. And so I also like to tell people that hypnotherapy is not a magical wand. Sometimes people have that misconception because of the way that it has been portrayed in the media, but it's not a magical wand. It is very effective and you can see results in very quick time frame. But as we already identified, that subconscious programming, most of us have been living with this programming all of our lives since childhood, right? And so we've reinforced this belief system, this programming many, many times. And so it takes time to undo that belief system. It takes time to unlearn in order to relearn. So, it's not a magical one, but it can be very, very effective. Scientists say that typically 6 to 8 sessions can typically resolve an issue that you're facing with. So 6 to 8 sessions to resolve an issue that you have been struggling with, battling with for your entire life is not a long period of time at all. Oh, so we're already at the end. And so, I am just very grateful to have the opportunity to combine two of the things that I'm the most passionate about in life, which is helping to empower people and encourage people, and travel. I'm able to combine both of those things and create the life that I desire. But it was not until I myself understood and learned the power of my subconscious and understood that I have the power to create the life that I desire. And so if I can do it, you can also do it. These are just a few photos from my travels. As I say, I've traveled to over 11 countries so far. Most of my travel has been solo. Many people like to ask me where's my favorite place I have visited thus far, and I will say Costa Rica for sure. I'm definitely a tropical girl. I spent about 3 months in Costa Rica. I just got back last week actually. And but traveling has just really, really shifted my perspective in life. And your life is your perspective, right? So yeah, those are pictures from Costa Rica. That is a picture from Vegas, maybe in the desert. Can't remember. That's a picture from China. Those two are both from Shanghai, China. And that on the end is a picture of me and my mom in Dominican Republic. She's also a traveling partner of mine. We enjoy to travel together. So we've taken many, many trips together. But, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to be able to do what I love in life. My clients have affectionately coined me the traveling hypnotherapist, and it has definitely stuck with me. Here's my contact information. So if anyone has any questions, they may not have felt comfortable asking here in this setting, please feel free to email me. That's my website and telephone number as well. If you're interested in sessions for yourself or someone please reach out. I do have availability for new clients. And so now I will open up the floor for questions. If anyone has any questions, let me see if there's anything in the chat here. No, I didn't close my video. It's off. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask now. You can type it in the chat, or I don't know if you have the ability to unmute yourself.
Jasmine, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. We also have people here in the room with us who may have questions. Does anyone in the audience have any questions so far? Okay. This is Professor Langley. She has a question for you.
Hi, Jasmine. I'm just thinking some of the students might benefit from hearing what are some maybe typical situations or concerns that maybe you assist clients with your hypnotherapy?
Yes, hypnosis can actually be utilized to address a range of issues, from anxiety to helping to manage depression, insomnia, weight management, smoking cessation, phobias, fears, helping to overcome phobias and fears, enhancing sports performances, overcoming fears of public speaking. It's just overcoming trauma, helping to manage trauma and release trauma. The list goes on and on to what it can be utilized for. It can also be utilized to manage chronic pain. A lot of people utilize it for pain management. I'm actually signed up for a certification for hypnobirthing. So this is where people use hypnosis during their birthing. So instead of using pain medication, they use hypnosis to help them throughout the birthing process. So I'm very interested to learn more about that. But it's unlimited what it can be utilized for.
Okay. Jasmine, we have a few more questions.
Good afternoon, Jasmine. This is Violet Cox-Wingo, Professor Cox-Wingo. And this is not really a question. It's more or less a comment. Years ago, when I was an intern at the University of Kentucky, there was a doctor there by the name of Dr. Maxie Mosby Jr. And one of the things that he did, he was into hypnosis. There would be times within the day that he could not get out and run. He was an avid runner. He would go in his office and sit there. And in his mind, he would do his running. And I can remember going to his office. He was dressed in a jogging suit. And I saw that he was profusely sweating and wondered where he had been. And he told me he had taken a trip in his mind and that he was jogging. And from that time on, I was sold. So thank you for your presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you for that comment. And that is so very true. As we stated before, your imagination is held there in the subconscious, right? And that's a huge part of hypnosis being so successful. People are unaware of how powerful your imagination is, in the power of visualization. So yes, it's very, very true. There's been studies where people have utilize hypnosis and visualization to improve their health. So, what's the old saying, as a man thinketh, he is? That's very true.
Okay, Jasmine, I like to have a theoretical basis for everything. And as I was listening to you, it sounds a lot like Freudian theory. And I know that a number of the students are here in the session are taking human behavior in the social environment now. So is much of this, do we contribute to Freud and his ideas?
Absolutely. He actually utilized hypnosis a lot. I wasn't aware of that in school. This was until I got into my own training course, where I learned where Freud utilized hypnosis a lot himself, personally and with clients. So absolutely.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to share that with the audience, because that's important, that what we do have a theoretical basis for it. And I didn't want them to think, oh, you pick something out of a hat, but this has a strong theoretical science base to it.
Absolutely, it does. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask before you end, would you just talk a little bit about the additional training you had to have to become certified in hypnosis?
Absolutely. I was gonna make a statement there, what you just said, and it slipped my mind. But yes, so I am a board certified. There is no licensure in the United States for hypnotherapy. It is still considered alternative and complementary medicine, but there are many, many scientific studies out there about the effectiveness of hypnotherapy. So, you know, definitely if you're interested, just kind of take a look into it. There's ton of research out there on it. So I definitely had to be certified. I went through a certification program. I did an intense certification program, which was about 8 weeks long, in California at the California Institute for Hypnotherapy. And then I had to take a examination similar to my licensure exam to be certified. And so I also have to maintain continuing education hours, just as I have to do with my social work license, every 2 years to keep my certification up to date.
Thank you, Jasmine. This is Scott Coble. We do have a question from Rose Erickson in the chat. What does the process of hypnosis look like? Is it mostly voice and breath work?
Yeah, so there are a number of different techniques that the therapist will utilize to help you reach this state of hypnosis. But to be quite honest, hypnosis, the state of hypnosis, that trance state, is actually a very natural state of being. Your brain naturally goes into this state, this trance state naturally, at least twice a day, when you're first waking up and when you're first drifting off to sleep. So there are certain brain wave frequencies that your body, your mind, your brain goes through. And so it just really looks like being deeply relaxed. If you're looking at someone in the state of hypnosis, they seem to be deeply relaxed. You know, there are certain body cues that we look for to just confirm that they're in hypnosis, but it looks nothing more than being in a deep state of relaxation. A lot of my clients tell me that they feel like they wake up and feel like they've taken a nice nap and they're refreshed. So it's not really necessarily a particular look, I guess. But your eyes are closed down, and you're listening to the guidance of the therapist guiding you into this trance state. And so there is also self-hypnosis, which I can't remember who made the comment earlier about the doctor who would go into his office and basically go on a run. He was putting himself in a state of self-hypnosis. And a lot of times, you know, it's difficult for people to do that because we don't know how to quiet our minds, right? Our mind is constantly going, there's constantly thoughts coming and going. And so that's where the hypnotherapist comes in with different techniques to help you bypass that conscious mind.
My name is Jamario Brooks. I just wanted to ask you, what led you to becoming this type of therapist?
You know, I have always been interested and passionate about human behavior and understanding human behavior. That was one of my favorite courses in college. And so just life experience and just, you know, being out in life, in practice, professional experience as well as personal, and just work. You know, I was a licensed master social worker working in many different social service environments before I became certified as a hypnotherapist. I was a primary care social worker for the VA for about 4 years. I worked in therapeutic foster care, as well as medical social work. So I've had the opportunity to work with clients in all stages of life. And what I noticed is how difficult it was for us to overcome issues. Like, we would consciously make the decision to change, but it was always something that reverted the clients back. And so just, you know, studying into human behavior and learning about how the mind works. And when you truly, truly understand the function of the mind, the structure of the mind, and how it works, you'll understand that there's absolutely nothing about us that cannot be changed. And so that's what led me into hypnotherapy.
Hi, my name's Libby Fricky. I was just wondering, so you had mentioned that women use this during pregnancy when they're giving birth, and I was just wondering, would that impact the mother's like memory of giving birth, or like the pain? Like how does that impact that?
Yeah, so I haven't taken that course yet, but the studying that I've done on it thus far, so in any stage of hypnosis, you will be able to remember what happened. So it's mainly for pain management. It will be utilized for pain management. So to help maintain, manage the pain of labor and delivery.
Is there anything else before we close down? We have a few more minutes for Q&A.
Yeah, these are really good questions.
There's one in the chat.
No, I was going to ask that second part of the website, intuitive service.
That's part of it.
I'm sorry? Yes, I see that in your name. Hey, Jasmine, thank you for
Hello.
the presentation. I'm a fellow hypnotist too. But I'm curious about the second half of the name of your organization, the Intuitive Services. Is that in addition to hypnotherapy, or is that the same thing?
Yeah, so I've always been an empath, very in tune with my surroundings, in tune with people around me, in tune with the emotions that they are experiencing. So I've just naturally always been an intuitive, even as a young girl growing up, people always called me an old soul because it just was things that I just intuitively knew. So I utilize I offer more than just hypnotherapy sessions. I offer self-love coaching, as well as like intuitive counseling. So just utilizing my intuitive skills to help clients to continue to overcome the obstacles and thrive. So it goes hand in hand, truly.
Hi, Jasmine. This is Professor Langley again. And I had another question. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and have a clinical practice. And I use visualization quite often, especially doing trauma narratives and different type of work. How different is hypnosis or the hypnotherapy versus visualization?
So hypnotherapy utilizes visualization. So you're not necessarily, when you're using just typical visualization, you're not necessarily in a hypnotic state. So hypnotherapy places you in the hypnotic state and utilizes visualizations and positive suggestions to help behavior modification.
Jasmine, it's Dr. McElderry again. You mentioned that this is still considered alternative and complementary medicine. So is it covered by most private or public insurance carriers?
So I always tell clients that insurance policies vary so much. I always advise the client to reach out to their insurance provider and speak with them about their individual specific plan. Because some do and some don't. The ones that I have seen that do cover, it's a reimbursement. So the client pays upfront and then the insurance provider will reimburse.
Hi, my name is Byron Bankhead. How you doing, Ms. Jasmine?
Hi.
My question is, how do you feel about, or how do you think a lot of these different alternative forms of therapy, like hypnotherapy, play therapy, even people looking into stuff like psilocybin with therapy, what does it take for those things to become, those alternative forms of therapy to transition into more mainstream forms of therapy?
Yeah, that's my push. I'm always pushing to educate people about hypnotherapy because there's a huge misconception about it, right? Because of how it's been portrayed in the media. But I agree with you. I am more so aligned with the alternative methods of healing than mainstream, just because I'm more of a holistic, taking into effect the mind, body, and the spirit. And I understand that they all work in unison, right? And when one is out of balance, it's gonna make the others unbalanced as well. So I think it's just gonna take education and a mindset shift, for sure. Hypnotherapy is gaining more and more recognition in the medical arena now. And so I just think it's going to take a lot more education and a shift in mindset to be able to see these alternative methods more mainstream.
Okay, thank you so much, Jasmine. Do we have any other questions before we hear Jasmine's final thoughts? Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have. Your final thoughts and just where you off to next.
So my final thoughts is just like I said before, once you truly understand the structure of the mind and how it works, there is absolutely nothing about ourselves that cannot be changed. You know, hypnosis, like I said, is now becoming more recognized in the medical and healing community. But you know, hypnosis has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Ancient civilizations used hypnosis. The Egyptian and the Greek civilizations used what they referred to as sleep temples. That was nothing but hypnotherapy. So it is extremely effective. You are able to see results in a very quick time frame. So if you guys, anyone has any questions, you know, maybe weren't comfortable asking them here, or if you're interested in finding out more information as if this mode of treatment may be effective for you, please feel free to reach out to me. I offer free consultations, so I don't mind hopping on a call and us just chatting. Where am I off next to? You know, I don't know, Dr. Mac. I think Thailand has been calling me. I have a travel jar. And when I don't know where I'm gonna go, I just take the travel jar and I pull out of the travel jar, and that determines where I go next. But I think maybe Thailand.
Well, you seem to have an affinity for Asia. Have you, out of those 11 countries, have you been to Asia more so than any other continent?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I would say, you know, I do like Asia, but I'm a tropical girl. So I'm really in love with like Latin and South America now. So I definitely want to explore more of Latin and South America, the tropics, so near the Caribbean. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. And I think you've been an inspiration today. And certainly we appreciate you taking the time to come
Thank you.
and enlighten us today. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for coming.